First homeowner grant is one of the most searched terms for first home buyers. What I've realized is that most of us use that term to search not because it's the best scheme available, but rather it's the only one we can call out. What we're actually looking for is a simple summary of every single way the government is willing to help us to get into a home. Hi everyone, my name is Victor. I'm a mortgage broker that will tell you everything I know. In this video, I'll go through all the schemes available, both nationwide and state-specific ones, and how to maximize the benefits. Now, before we go through the nationwide schemes, there's something you need to know. Most of these states actually follow a very similar pattern. It's almost like a standard recipe. You'll find it in almost every state. The help comes down to two things: a cash grant for new properties and a stamp duty waiver or discount. Simply click the chapter for the state you're living in for the state-specific content, but let's start with the ones available Australia-wide first. Federal schemes are available anywhere in Australia. The three main pillars are the 5% deposit scheme, the First Home Super Saver, and the Help to Buy scheme. The 5% scheme is probably the flagship first home buyer program in the country. It allows you to buy your first home with a deposit as low as 5% without paying an expensive fee called Lender's Mortgage Insurance, LMI. Normally, LMI would cost you anywhere from $10,000 to $30,000, but under this scheme, you save that cash and enjoy a competitive interest rate. This scheme is great if you already have that minimum 5% deposit saved and you have the borrowing power to handle the mortgage. I actually have a separate video deep diving into the mechanics of this scheme, which you can click above. Next, we have the First Home Super Saver scheme. This is probably the one scheme people don't take advantage of because it sounds confusing and is confusing, but it's essentially a tax hack for your deposit. In short, you can make voluntary contributions to your super, either through salary sacrifice or personal after-tax contributions, and then withdraw them to buy your first home. You can put up to $15,000 each financial year with a total limit of $50,000 per person. It's basically a 30% tax savings for every dollar you put in. The actual calculations are a little bit more complicated and the savings are less significant compared to the 5% deposit scheme. A good way to think about the First Home Super Saver benefit is that it usually equates to free solicitor fees, building inspections, and moving costs. It's that extra bit of cream on top of your savings. Lastly, we have the Help to Buy scheme, which was just released at the end of 2025. This is a share equity scheme specifically targeting low to middle income earners. Under this program, the government contributes up to 30% for existing homes and 40% for brand new homes. Because the government is chipping in so much, you only need a 2% deposit. The government will have a financial interest in your property up to the percentage they contributed. If the house goes up in value, their shares goes up too. However, this is a fantastic scheme for those who are currently lacking the borrowing power to make that final push to buy a property. Say you want to buy a $600,000 property, but your savings plus borrowing power only adds up to $500,000. With this scheme, the purchase may be possible as it bridges the gap between what the bank would give you and what the market actually costs. Let's start off with the stamp duty waiver and discounts. The stamp duty waiver and discount scheme in New South Wales is called the First Home Buyer Assistance Scheme. With Sydney being the most expensive city in Australia, New South Wales has the highest stamp duty waiver and discounts. For purchases less than $800,000, you pay no stamp duty, which is a benefit up to $30,000. For purchases between $800,000 to $1 million, you get a discount which progressively decreases until $1 million, where you pay the full stamp duty. Then we have the First Home Owner Grant. Ironically, New South Wales has quite a weak First Home Owner Grant, which is a $10,000 one-off payment when you buy or build your first new home. If you purchase a newly built house, townhouse, apartment, unit, or similar, the purchase price must not exceed $600,000. If you choose to build, the combined land plus building contract must not exceed $750,000. Unless you're living quite regional, it's often very hard to make use of the scheme. If you're looking to purchase a property as soon as possible, you can try look at properties below $800,000 where you don't have to pay stamp duty. In combination with the 5% deposit scheme, technically all you need is 5% deposit plus a few $1,000s for miscellaneous costs and you're good to go. Now, let's look at the support available in Queensland. This state is unique because they are created two very different paths depending on whether you're buying an existing house or building a brand new one. Let's start with the stamp duty waiver and discounts, which is called the first home concession. This is where you need to choose your path carefully. For those looking to buy an existing home, the magic number is $700,000. If your purchase is less than $700,000, you pay zero stamp duty, which is a benefit of around $17,000. For purchases between $700,000 and $800,000, you get a discount that progressively decreases until you hit that $800,000 mark. However, if you choose to buy a brand new home or build on vacant land, you don't pay any stamp duty and there's no price cap. This means you could build a brand new home for $900,000 or even over $1 million. And as long as you are a first home buyer, you pay zero stamp duty. This is a massive change designed to get more people building rather than buying existing homes. Next, we have the first home owner grant. Queensland currently has one of the strongest cash grants in the country, a $30,000 one-off payment when you buy or build your first new home. To get this cash, the total value of the property must not exceed $750,000. One very important thing to be aware of, this $30,000 boost only applies to contracts signed up until June 30th, 2026. If you're watching this video or signing a contract after June 2026, the Queensland government has indicated the grant will revert back to $15,000. Finally, we have new Boost to Buy scheme. This is a state-specific share equity scheme similar to Help to Buy scheme. Queensland government contributes up to 30% for new homes and 25% for existing homes, allowing you to buy with just a 2% deposit and a property value up to $1 million. The scheme has a very lenient requirement compared to the Help to Buy scheme. $330 million is the total funding provided to support up to 2,000 first-home buyers for the next 3 years. Queensland is currently the most generous state if you're willing to build. The Boost to Buy scheme recently had its funding doubled to $330 million, delivering support for up to 2,000 first-home buyers. But if you think closely, it doesn't take too many applications to fill up all these spots, especially since 50% are reserved for regional areas and the income caps are quite generous. If you're in a newly developed area, try to combine the first home owner grant, the zero stamp duty, and the 2% deposit from Boost to Buy. You could technically enter the market with almost no savings of your own. Look at the Victoria stamp duty waiver, the first home buyer duty exemption. In Victoria, you get a full stamp duty waiver if you buy for $600,000 or less. If you spend between $600,000 and $750,000, you get a partial discount. And once you hit that $750,000 mark, you're paying the full stamp duty. In a market like Melbourne, finding a quality home under $600,000 is becoming a real challenge. Then, we have the first home owner grant. This is a $10,000 one-off payment when you buy or build your first new home, which is quite small compared to other states. It applies to new homes valued up to $750,000. Then we have the off-the-plan duty concession. The government has extended the temporary rule until October the 20th, 2026. This allows you to pay stamp duty only based on the purchase price minus the construction costs, saving you a bit of money. Victoria used to have the Victorian Home Buyer Fund, which was their fantastic 25% share equity scheme, but is now replaced by the federal Help to Buy scheme, which has stricter requirements. When you look at these numbers, the support in Victoria is feeling quite weak. In a market like Melbourne, finding a quality home under $600,000 is very difficult, meaning most buyers are missing out on the full stamp duty waiver. The $10,000 grant is also quite small compared to other states. Because the home buyer fund is closed, Victoria is currently one of the hardest states for first home buyers to enter the market. Hopefully, the Victoria government will introduce some greater policies in the future to assist first home buyers. If you're looking to build or buy a brand new home, SA is currently one of the most aggressive states in the country for supporting first home buyers. Starting with stamp duty, for any contract entered into on or after 6th of June 2024, the South Australian government has completely abolished stamp duty for first home buyers, provided you are buying a brand new home or building on vacant land. The best part, there's no property value cap, whether your new home costs $500,000 or $1.5 million. As long as it's your first home and it's brand new, you pay zero stamp duty. Next is the first home owner grant. This is a $15,000 one-off payment. Similar to the stamp duty rules, the government has removed the price cap for this grant as well. You get the $15,000 cash regardless of the purchase price, as long as the home is brand new and has never been lived in before. Now, if you're buying an existing home, which normally is in more developed areas, there's no stamp duty relief and no cash grant for established properties in South Australia. You will have to pay for the full stamp duty for the purchase. The state is basically forcing you to build or buy brand new. By removing the price caps on new homes, they've made it incredibly attractive to go for a house and land package. If you combine these state benefits with the national 5% deposit scheme, which in Adelaide has a price cap of $900,000, you're looking at a very low entry path into the market. The strategy for SA is simple. If you want the government's help, you buy new. If you buy an old house, you're pretty much on your own. The ACT doesn't offer a cash grant. Instead, they have put all the support into the home buyer concession scheme. ACT has one of the highest thresholds when it comes to stamp duty waiver and discounts. If you're a first home buyer, you pay zero stamp duty on any property, new or established, valued up to $1 million. If you buy a home between $1 million and $1,455,000, you still get a significant discount. At the top end, this can save you over $34,000 in upfront costs. However, unlike other states where anyone can get the stamp duty benefit as long as the price is right, the ACT use income limits. To qualify for the zero stamp duty, your total household income for the previous financial year must be below $250,000. If you have children, the limit goes up slightly for each child. There's also a special bonus for those looking at apartments or townhouses. Until the 30th of June 2026, there's a specific off-the-plan unit duty exemption. This allows you to pay zero stamp duty on off-the-plan units valued up to $1.02 million. This particular exemption is not income tested. If you're a high-income earner, this is something you may be able to take advantage of. ACT has a fantastic stamp duty waiver and discount scheme with no restrictions on the type of property. You have much more freedom to buy in a suburb you actually like rather than being forced into a new build area. The strategy here is to check your income first. If you earn over $250,000 as a household, only buying off the plan units can get you that tax waiver. If you earn under that, the door is wide open for pretty much any property under $1 million. Let's talk about the first home owner grant rate of duty. This is your stamp duty waiver. As of now, if you're buying a new home anywhere in WA, you pay zero stamp duty on properties valued up to $500,000. If you spend between $500,000 and $700,000 in the Perth or Pierre regions, you get a discounted concessional rate. If you're buying in regional area, that discount actually extends further up to $750,000. Next is the first home owner grant. This is a $10,000 one-off payment specifically for brand new homes. The price cap for this grant depends on whether you're above or below the 26th parallel. If you're buying in the south of the 26th parallel, which covers all Perth metro areas, the property value must be $750,000 or less. The limit is $1 million if you buy anything north of the 26th parallel to account for higher northern building costs. There's also a hidden bonus called the Home Buyer Assistance Account. This is a grant of up to $2,000 to help reimburse for incidental costs like settlement fees or valuations. To get this, you must be buying an established home for $500,000 or less through a licensed real estate agent. Finally, for apartments and townhouse buyers, the off-the-plan duty concession has been extended until the 30th of June 2026. This offers a 100% stamp duty concession on properties valued up to $750,000 if you buy before construction has commenced, and a 75% concession if construction has already started. For purchases above $750,000, the concession decreases to 50% and 37.5% gradually for pre-construction and under-construction contracts. With how quickly property prices have increased in WA over the last few years, it's significantly hard to buy anything below $500,000 in Perth. This means many first home buyers are still being pushed into paying partial or even full stamp duty. If you're buying a brand new apartment or townhouse, you would save a good amount on stamp duty by using that off-the-plan concession. But if you're buying a standard house, anything below $700,000 is what you need to aim for to take advantage of the state benefits. In today's Perth market, rather than asking the question of would you, the real question is can you. Finding stocks at these price points is the biggest challenge first home buyers face right now. The Tasmanian government has created two very different paths for first home buyers. Depending on whether you choose a brand new home or an existing one, the benefits you get are completely different. Let's start with stamp duty. If you choose the path of buying an existing home, the Tasmanian government is being incredibly aggressive. You pay zero stamp duty on properties valued up to $750,000. This can save you over $28,000 in upfront costs. This is currently one of the highest stamp duty thresholds for existing homes in the country. However, you need to move fast. This 100% exemption is currently scheduled to expire on the 30th of June, 2026. Now, if you choose the path of buying a brand new home, you generally still have to pay for the stamp duty, but the government balances this out with the first homeowner grant. As of now, the grant for new builds has tripled to $30,000. This is currently one of the highest cash grants in Australia. A huge advantage here is that Tasmania has no price caps on the value of the home to be eligible for. So this $30,000, as long as it's brand new, you get that cash grant. Finally, we have My Home, the state share equity scheme, which works for both paths. For new homes, they can contribute up to 40% with a price cap of $800,000. For existing homes, they contribute up to 30% with a price cap of $750,000. This allows you to buy with just a 2% deposit and avoid LMI entirely. If you want an established home in a settled suburb, unless there are any new updates, you must settle before 30th of June 2026 to avoid paying stamp duty. If you choose to build or buy brand new, you get the $30,000 grant. Because there's no price cap on the grant, you have much more flexibility in what you want to build compared to other states. Let's start with stamp duty. We take a very different approach here. While there isn't a broad waiver for every first-time buyer, there is a major house and land package exemption. If you buy a house and land package from a building contractor in a single transaction, you can get a full stamp duty exemption. This is active for contracts signed until the 30th of June 2027. And the best part is, it's not means tested and has no property value cap. With regards to the first homeowner grant, the government currently offers the Homegrown Territory Grant. If you're buying or building a brand new home, the government will give you a $50,000 cash grant. This is the largest single cash payment for first home buyers across the nation. It applies to new houses, off-the-plan apartments, and even transportable homes. Like the stamp duty exemption, there's no cap on the purchase price. This $50,000 grant is currently extended for contracts signed until the 30th of September 2026. If you aren't looking to build and want an established home, there's still support available. Whilst the $50,000 is for new builds, you can still access a $10,000 grant for existing properties. The benefit for buying a new home is quite massive in Northern Territory with the $50,000, and when you combine that with the house and land stamp duty waiver, you're looking at nearly $70,000 to $80,000 in total government support. Okay, that's every state, every scheme covered. Remember, all of these schemes are for owner-occupied use only. Depending on the scheme and state, there will be ongoing requirements like moving in within 6 to 12 months and live in there for 6 to 12 consecutive months. Make sure you understand these requirements when you proceed if your future circumstances may change. If you want to have a chat, you can book a free call through my description below. After the call, you'll also receive a 50-page first home buyer guide that I wrote myself. I'm Victor, and I'll see you in the next video.